In the last part of the 1800s and beginning of the 1900s, crochet was banned from needlecraft classes in Prussian schools on the grounds there was a superfluous pastime, unlike learning useful skills such as how to patch, darn, knit, and sew linen. But the number of crochet samplers from schools in Prussia at this period shows that far from all teachers followed this ban in practice. Rosalie, the German needlecraft teacher, protested against the attack on crochet and argued in her book that, on the contrary, it may give cause for surprise that I should list crochet as a necessary subject in the needlework curriculum of every school. It is generally looked upon as a luxury. The very nature of crochet demonstrates that it is not so. Easily worked loops using the cheapest of yarns to make indispensable garments in a relatively short time, at no further cost, surely cannot be termed a luxury. Those who fear crochet have no idea how it should be taught. In her opinion, crochet was the very needlecraft best suited for teaching children all the rules of working with yarn, as well as being the best way to cultivate the sense of form. That is, of course, from Liz Paludan's Crochet History and Technique. Now, I made this a few months ago. It's, of course, from Weldon's Practical Needlework booklet from 1937. It's church lace, it has spider lace and a filet crochet cross. I thought it was fabulous. This was my first introduction into church lace, and I said, if I see some in person, I have to make it. So when I did, I did. I'm gonna take you back to a fun little adventure. We're going, of course, to London, to Holborn, to Lincoln's Inn Fields, walk the passage of New Square, and up ahead is Lincoln's Inn Chapel, consecrated in 1623. Isn't that gorgeous? This is the church lace I wanted to recreate. Unfortunately, they had it on backwards. But here's what it looks like. The centerpiece is a Christogram, HYEAH, which is Jesus the Savior of humanity, pardon me. We have what I presume are white lilies, which are a symbol of purity and innocence. We have a chalice and a cross. I wanted to recreate the flower because I thought that would be the cutest. Now, the thing about this is my little booklet of lace for now. The thing is, if I hadn't practiced with antique patterns before, specifically this pattern here, which you can see is just roses, I don't think I would have been able to freehand it. Something like that was very useful. And then this as well for how to increase the edges and decrease. Superb. So this was my first attempt. Go easy on me. This was it. And then if we bring back our picture, pretty decent in it. The thing with this one, I did have to, I did have to invert it because they had it backwards in real life. When I started crocheting, I thought, why is this not going to plan? Well, because it was inverted, so put it the right way around, started working on it. I had to begin it like 3 times, it was awful. And you can see the border's a bit messed up. And one thing which I hated about the original is how you have the framed flowers. You have that for every piece there. And then the border's supposed to stagger along with it neatly. I think there should be 3 steps, really. And each step should have 3 rows. And then the longest one is down here. I was copying what they had done, you know? But then I realized, oh, that one's not even. When you have this long row, and you have the long row and you have the 3, until then it should all be 1 row and then staggers in 3s there. Basically, it was a whole bunch of faffing around to create this disaster. And then to top it all off, as I was finishing it around here, my bunny got the yarn and just tore that to shreds. But I could not leave you with this. I wanted to do it some justice, so I recreated it as it should be. Here is the new. Well, let's flip that round too then. Looks pretty decent. See the border? That was... Oh my god, I could not put that with those other laces which are 100% perfect and pretend that this is quality work. This I'm probably gonna throw away, I don't need it. And then this one, just the border, I made sure it lined up because at the 3 here, it should be a drop-off point, and then you have 3 lines, and then the cross you have 2. Because there's a little cross here, and then you have another one, and that's the beginning of the next repeat. So I made sure that aligned, unlike how they originally had it done. Hated it. I thought their work is gorgeous, nothing against what they have done. But I'll be damned if I repeat that. Let me see if I can show you sort of. Like, when you study it, you see that this does not match up every time. That the number is different. You see how there should be 3 there, but there's 4, and then that one's... Oh, it's not right. I mean, it's fine, their work is gorgeous, but if it's a sample piece, the sample has to be perfect. This is to illustrate what I'm capable of. Of course, I didn't need a pattern, it's filet crochet, so you just count the dots, you know how much that is. For the starting chain, I'll be damned if I count that much. So I just made a long chain and then worked back into it and saw how much was needed. Now, this is what it looks like. I used a polyester thread. I know, I'll be damned, it's polyester, not cotton. How not authentic, but listen, it was at a beauty shop. It was like a little cone. The colour's called blonde. So I'm assuming it's for like wigs or something. And it's the thinness that I needed. This I think would be like a size 20 cotton, that kind of thing. But I don't have any cotton at the moment, so it had to suffice. Anyway, so yeah, it is polyester. So when you see this one kind of wrinkle up, it's because I haven't ironed it yet. And then I used my lace hook, which is a Millwood size 10. Absolutely love this one. This is what all of those other laces are made from. And I found the original ad for this, which I think was from 1921 or 24. And it was just steel and nickel plated. I thought that was so fun. I love my crochet hooks. But yeah, I'm much happier with the improved version. I was a bit annoyed because my wrist has been aching a bit lately. But you know what? Fair enough. When you look at the book, you see perfection. You don't see a failure. And no, it was definitely fun. What I aim to do is to, if we can get rid of that, is to create church laces, a little collection. But ones that I've seen. You know, I go on my adventures, I see a church lace, recreate it. The majority are in filet crochet, so that's easy. They're all going to be in this format. And roughly this size as well. They're not usually this small. This again was from 1937. This one, if I were to date it, maybe 1910s. The chapel was consecrated in 1623, and then I don't know, they call them Victorian church laces sometimes, or altar laces, but it's not Victorian. Not the ones I've seen so far, they're definitely later. But I do think it is super duper cute. And then I don't really want to recreate the Christograms. I'm not religious. The cross is fine, and then symbolism, sure. But the Christogram's kind of out of my alley. But then I'd like to have like more crosses, more chalices. Oh, I'd love to make a chalice. And then just have... Oh, imagine how gorgeous that would look. Just a bunch of church lace samples. And then if they match up in size, that would be so cool as well. But it's fun bringing it to life, and I got to scratch that itch a little because I got to make sure my border's better. Because when the first attempt I made it too small, it was supposed to be 2 extra blocks, but I did 1 block. Big mistake, don't know what I was thinking. And then I don't know what they were thinking with not having it match up with the interior frame. Fine, whatever. But it is perfect now. I'm super happy, super duper happy. I just really wanted to show you it. Yeah, I think these are white lilies, which would be Christian symbolism of innocence and purity. But also around the chapel there were lots of snowdrops, which kind of look the same. Which I know they're probably not, but how cute would that be? Ugh, anyway, this is definitely going into my sample book. And put this guy here. Of course, I would like to make this out of fabric and then really display them nicely, because you can see some of them are too big, and here are a few fails. I mean, they're not exactly the worst, but you've got that wave braid, which now that I've got better patterns, this doesn't need to be in the antique sample book, you know? And these are fun, but they are polyester, which I'm only doing the exception for church laces, just so they all have that theme. And the color blonde makes it look a bit worn out, a bit antique, I suppose. Oh, this is a struggle. Anyway, you get the gist of it. That's gonna be really fun to have all of those done. And then Liz's book, I just want to show you at the front, she does mention some church lace, which I thought was super fun. You can see it's all filet crochet. I mean, you could recreate this from the book quite easily too. How fun is that? Oh, I cannot wait to make one of them the chalice. I love it. And then I saw one more in real life, which I'm working on, but that's kind of on the back pedal right now. But the pattern for it is on the antiquepatternlibrary.org, which is great because nice and easy, and I get to use the original pattern and then see what the actual physical form looks like. Oh, super exciting. Anyways, I think that's it.